Hello, welcome. I know I said the Gresham video was up next, but I thought, what if I did a recap of my favorite stuff in 2022 instead? There's a bit of a caveat with this year's best video. It's gonna be chaotic, to say the least, and that's for a few reasons. I did not watch everything I wanted to watch. I didn't keep track of my star ratings until halfway through the year. A lot of the earlier stuff that happened in 2022, I'm just gonna have to go off vibes, really. Also, I'm not gonna rewatch anything. I watched a little bit of AEW this year. I didn't watch any WWE, did not watch any Joshi, and that... Well, actually I watched some Joshi, but not enough, and it's really a crime. Really, most of this list is going to be Noah and AEW. This is an easy one for me, and yes, we will be starting this off hot with this choice I've made. I don't think anybody else is going to have this. Let that sink in. With all the Noah Juniors, yeah, that one. I would argue, not really any bad matches on this card. I'll go through them. Our opener, we got like a veteran in Ikuto Hidaka versus Kai Fujimura. Honestly, it's just short and breezy. Well, then we got Slex versus Yano. Yano is great, and Slex is a fun time. Not a stellar match, but I was jiving. I was thoroughly enjoying it. Then we get into the good stuff. Kotaro Suzuki versus Yuya Susumu. And yes, this is a 20-minute draw match, and you know me, I love my draws, and also this was part of a feud, an ongoing feud, and I enjoyed both competitors a lot, so yeah, I love this match. There's another match on this card, but we'll skip it. Next up we have Hao versus Neo. Well, I guess they're both formerly known as Hao and Neo now. This is just another feud match, and it was good, and these guys slap. You know, good stakes. Then we had Extreme Tiger versus Seiki Yoshioka, and I love Seiki, and it's a great mix of styles. Like, it's a really interesting matchup, and it's really fun, really fast. Then we have the Noah Junior Army versus Z-Brats from Dragon Gate. This match was just really cool. It's an interpromotional rivalry, and you just get to see everyone's strengths. After that, we have Ninja Mac versus Alpha Wolf versus Dragonbane. I love this match, to be honest with you. I really do. There is never a dull moment. There's like something insane is always happening during this match. It literally, I don't know how long the match is, but it flew by. People are just flying into guardrails and tables. The brothers, Alpha Wolf and Dragonbane, the brothers, I believe, and they're constantly feuding during this match, and Ninja Mac almost looks left out, and he's always trying to fit in. He catches a random crucifix bomb, and I was like, that was awesome. Just high-flying, balls-to-the-walls action. Next up, we got Chris Ridgway and Ogawa versus Katoge and Yohei. And you know me, I love Yohei as well. So seeing him so stylish and then get brutalized by Stinger was quite awesome, quite frankly. I think he sold really well, if I recall, in that match. Main event, Hayata versus Eita. This was a bit of a stinker, to be honest with you. This was probably the one drawback to this card. Just didn't leave an impact on me, and I don't think their styles meshed well at all. Because I do actually enjoy both of them, but I wasn't feeling it tonight with them. Some runner-up events, I would say All Japan's Champion Carnival Night 1 was really good, weirdly, like really good. Then also GANPro's Bad Communication had some, just like a really good card, and pretty short. I think it's like a 3-hour show. It was really good. Look, I'm not an AEW head. It's just not a show for me. I can't get into the way it's structured. So you probably think, oh, it must be Noah then. It's gotta be Noah. And I do love Noah. That's true. Yeah, they didn't have a great year. Well, they've had a weird year. They were making questionable decisions. Not related to Fujita. Thank you very much. He is our champion. So, I mean, Gleet is cool. Yes, Gleet is promotion of the year. Why? Because I said so. Also, go watch them. They're free on YouTube. This is a simple one, and it's gotta be the Briscoes. If you haven't somehow, I implore you to watch their trilogy with FDR. Okay, before we rock onto the next segment, I want to instill some new rules randomly. Since I'm doing a Gresham video, as you all know, I don't want to spoil any of my thoughts on some of his matches that he had last year. Gresham will be absent from this top 10 list of wrestlers as well as matches. So if you want to see my thoughts on him overall last year, you'll get a good feel for that in my next video. I'm putting my boy CM Punk in here, alright? He had 6 matches that I really enjoyed. One with Dustin Rhodes, MJF feud, his Mox matches. Those would be the big ones. Obviously, injury and stuff like that, it prevented him from being on the list proper. Next up, we got Eddie Kingston. Admittedly, I did not watch enough Eddie Kingston this year, and that's on me. The stuff I did see, which was his match with Jun Akiyama, the Anarchy in Arena match, Takeshita match, as well as the Marufuji match. Oh, and his match with Ishii at the AEW pay-per-view. So yeah, he had some really good stuff. Next up, Tetsuhito Tokaiwa I really enjoyed his title reign at GamePro, so he's getting a mention on here. He was just, I mean, really, he's just an old dude, and he just dumps people on their head. It's awesome. Next up, Shoko Nakajima, the one Joshi mentioned in all these lists. Shoko had a great reign as well as the Princess of Princesses champion. Recommend checking out those defenses, those matches, especially the one with Rika. Next up, Keno. Oh, you thought he'd be on the top 10 list? Well, you are wrong. He did have a lot of, I think he had a lot of fun matches. He nothing really blew me away. I mean, he started off pretty strong with the Kaito match of 2022. Yeah, I know he did also have another match this year. That was good. I recommend checking that out. He had 2 or 3 national belt defenses that were really good till Funaki took it off him. He had a cool tag match against Hideki Suzuki and Sugura, and then he had a few pretty good matches in the N1. Similarly, there's Katsuhiko Nakajima. I enjoyed his match with Fujita a lot, I'll be honest with you. I mean, he had that amazing moment in the Cyber Fight Festival. You remember that, guys? When he hurt Endo really bad and gave us Higuchi as champion? Yeah, let that sink in. Alright, we need to show this guy more love. Then he had some matches in the N1 similar to Keno. He actually did some selling in that N1, I must say. He had another tag match with Keno versus Sugura and Kojima. That was actually really good. Next up, we got Hangman Page. He had a great start of the year with his defenses against Bryan Danielson and Lance Archer. Sort of tapered off after the Adam Cole feud. Oof. Later on, he had a fun match with Takeshita, but really nothing too memorable outside of those things. Oh, the CM Punk match? Yeah, that was good. Next up, we got Biff Busick, my man. He came in hot with the Slade match. Remember that? That was good. Matches with Low-Ki, Brody King, Yuta, Mox, Kevin Koo. All those were really wonderful, really good. Those were really good, actually. He might deserve to be on this list now that I'm thinking about it. But he also sort of just disappeared midway through the year, I want to say. So then it was like, well, yeah, I guess he can't really make the list, can he? Next up, we got Wheeler Yuta. He just had some great matches throughout the year with Mox, Bryan, Danielson, and Daniel Garcia. Next up, we got Takeshita. I was literally writing this list, and I completely forgot about him until I was writing it. I was like, oh yeah, he had those really good matches with Mox, Kingston, Claudio, and Gresham. All worth checking out. Oh, and the Higuchi match. How many matches of his did I watch this year? Like 3, I think. But yeah, I'm putting him as number 10. Does he deserve that? Probably not, but I don't care. What 3 matches did I think were very good? You're gonna love this. First, Noah versus New Japan. Okay. He was tagging with Dookie, and he was against Yohei and Nasawa. I know, you don't believe me, but it's a good match, I promise you. Go ahead, check it out. I think, and they had like a Yohei and Despy had a singles match just the other day that I heard was good. So then we had that Moxley match, and of course his match with Jun Kasai. That was just incredible. He had great matches with Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley. He had the better matches in PWG this year with Bandito and Takeshita. His feud with Yuta for the Pure Belt was really good. I feel like Daniel Garcia always brings a sense of creativity to his matches that I just really vibed with, to be honest with you. At number 8, I'm putting Funaki. Let it sink in. How you feeling? You okay? Don't pass out. Alright, you're alright. I know, this is crazy. But I mean, I just thoroughly enjoyed his reign as GHC National Champ. All his defenses were worth checking out, in my opinion. They're short, they're sweet, and to the point. I love the sense in his matches that they can just end at any moment. Anyway, some of the highlights, I would say, were his match with Sugura in the N1. Definitely go check that out. His matches with Hideki Suzuki and Keno from the start of the year, also worth looking into. And I think he had a really cool match with Sakuraba. I'm pretty sure it's Sakuraba. It has to be good. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, I loved his, albeit brief, title reign. After he murdered Nakajima, he had a great defense against Tanaka. He had some really sickening headbutts in that match. And then, I'll be honest, he had a low-key, pretty great N1 run. His matches with Go, Hideki Suzuki, Tanaka, again, and of course, the glorious Keno match. I think in the Hideki Suzuki match, he gets all sweaty and slips over. It's definitely a botch, but not everything in wrestling should go perfectly all the time. So, stuff like that adds a little bit more reality to it, even if it's a botch. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, I enjoy. He had one of my favorite GamePro matches this year. It was a 6-man tag. It's basically all the best guys in GamePro. They go all out for like 10-15 minutes, I want to say, and it's awesome. It's worth checking out. Otherwise, Erie was constantly challenging top champions at various promotions that were all awesome. Check out the ones where he's challenging El Lindemann for the G-Rex belt, Imanari for the Spirit of Gun Pro belt, the BJW belt, also really good. I actually haven't seen that match, but I know it's good. In my heart of hearts, I know that match is good. He also had a solid run in WXW 16 Karat Gold tournament. He had a really cool match with Fuminori Abe, as well as Erie also had a really good run in the Champions Carnival. He probably had some of the better matches in that tournament, to be honest with you. course he's on this list. Are you crazy? I mean, come on, he's Bryan Danielson. I would say his year was a bit lower key than most. In my gut, I think that's true. I feel like he's had better years for sure. But the stuff he did this year that was good was really good. The Hangman stuff, the Anarchy in the Arena match, guys, remembering that? Remember how good that match is? Like his trilogy with Garcia was really good. And also the Moxley matches were good. The Yuta matches. I mean, he just had really good matches with a lot of different people. Admittedly, he was stuck in a feud with Jericho, and that was rough. But he did have like one good match with Jericho, if I recall. He also had a weirdly good match with Jake Hager. Kaito higher than Bryan Danielson? Am I okay? Yes, and here's why. I was fully invested in his journey this year. First, he loses against Kino. Good match. Later, he gains victory over Muto. That was a nice payoff. Then he had like a killer run in the N1. Like fantastic matches with pretty much everyone in that tournament, I want to say. Not fantastic, well, not everyone, but he had good to great matches with everyone, I would say. Then, of course, the finals match with Hideki Suzuki. Are you kidding me? Then he won the GHC belt against Kino. Admittedly, that match wasn't very good, to be honest. They definitely had a way better match earlier in the year. Plus, he had that match with Thatcher, and that always rules. We always need more Thatcher in our lives. He had that match with Go Shiozaki, and that was awesome as well. So, I don't know, really good year for this guy. Came into Noah hot with some great tag matches with Segura. He then would later tag with Thatcher. Those were also good. He had a really good match with Funaki. I think I mentioned that already. A killer run in the N1 as well. Hideki Suzuki had a disgustingly good match with Tanaka in that tournament. You guys should check that out. It's weird. It's weirdly good. I like Tanaka, and they usually doesn't do good in this kind of setting with like a grappler, but I don't know, they really jived. I don't know. It was really good. And of course, the final match with Kaito, I already mentioned that. And then he closed out the year with a really, really great Shuhei Taniguchi match. I mean, he basically just murders that guy, and it rocks. Hideki is just so good. He's literally disgustingly good, and I love it. Just the way he controls matches, the way he moves, the way each move leads into the next. It's awesome. He was the KOD champion. Let's thank Nakajima again for that. Alright, let's not forget, we can't erase the past, alright? That was something that definitely was Nakajima. Because remember, Endo was the champion, but Nakajima hurt him so bad, he had to relinquish the belt when they had that tournament. And a really good tournament where Higuchi showed up and beat everybody. We had a special tag match against Jun Akiyama and Omori. Another special tag match where he's tagging with Sakaguchi against Harashima and Hikaru Sato. And that match is awesome as well. His title reign matches against Takeshita and Sakaguchi were really good. An okay-ish match with Endo, but I truly do not remember a single thing from that match. So I'm sure Higuchi did loads more. I just have not seen it, but I think he deserves a spot anyway, even if I haven't seen all his work, because he's just that dang good. And no, I won't be elaborating further. Surely it had to be Mox. Surely. You knew that. You knew that deep down. You're like, yeah, it's gonna be Moxley. Yeah, I haven't seen him anywhere on the list yet. So let's think about it. Was there ever any doubt it wasn't going to be Moxley? Because I pretty much watched every match he was in this year. So he does have a bit of an advantage because he's probably the most filled out wrestler that I saw all the work of. His number of matches to good to great were insanely high, right? Like he's barely had any stinkers, and most of those were GCW. All his AEW stuff was fantastic. The stuff with Hangman, the stuff with Bryan Danielson and Blackpool Combat Club, all that stuff. The CM Punk matches, the New Japan stuff that he did. The man just rocks. When the blood be a pouring. It's awesome, frankly. It is. And you might be saying, but the blood, it's so repetitive. And to that I say, no. But each match is different. You know, each match stands on its own, is different. And that's why he's Wrestler of the Year. You guys ready? You guys are not ready for this list. If you thought the last list was crazy, you're not going to be ready for this one. We're starting hot with this. Harashima and Hikaru Sato versus Kazuda Higuchi and Yukio Sakaguchi. Is this a weird way to start the list? Yes. Does anyone even remember this match? I don't know, but it rules. This match is built around the premise of strike exchanges. You know me, I love those. And this match does a spin on that, and it's really funny. When they do a strike, the person selling will try and be like, bruh, that didn't hurt at all, but like they're just dying on the inside. It's like really funny, emotive reactions. Basically, it's just really hard hitting and it's really funny, and I think it's a great way to start this list. And you might be thinking, that doesn't make sense, and you'd be correct, but look, I make the rules here, not you, so I'm putting them both here. And both these matches stand by themselves. I think they're both really good individually. The first one is simple, short, and shocking, but Mox is so cool, and Punk is so good at selling that this match rocks. If you weren't bought into that match, I'm not going to be able to change your mind. Then, of course, the second match, it was really good. I just think about that finish to their second match, their rematch. Probably one of the best finishes I've seen. The way that Mox sort of draped drapes over the shoulders of Punk, and you see that look in Punk's eyes as he realizes what the opportunity is, like what's happened. But it happened at the same time that I realized it, so it was like, oh, like it had that light bulb moment at the same time as Punk, and it very good, just really good. And yeah, I'm just never gonna forget that finish, so boom, putting that at number 9. Yep, and I put this above CM Punk, but I don't know, the Yuta match really struck something with me. The way, yeah, I don't know, it just really depends on my mood, I suppose. But the match, basically this match is just Moxley trying to kill Yuta, is what it feels like. But Yuta is like, you know what if I didn't die, even though you're trying to kill me, but then he dies anyway? It's sort of how that match goes. It's a simple story of Yuta earning the respect of his mentors in Blackpool Combat Club, and it just works so well. It's a gripping story, and you want to see it. You want to see it play out completely, and they did probably the most satisfying way they could have possibly done that match. So, kudos. Look, he's Wrestler of the Year for a reason. And this match is fast, it is violent, it is bloody, and it's exactly what one wants from a Moxley match. We get to see Biff being Biff, and that is something we've been robbed of for too long. Too long, even though I only ever saw Biff in NXT as Oney Lorcan. What you're watching is just two men trying to kill each other, and that's all you sometimes need and want in a match. This match blew me away, plain and simple. Hideki is fantastic. Kaito is brilliant, and Hideki attacks Kaito just with an onslaught of moves. But Kaito, like, he's selling, but he's like not giving up. He's just going through it. He's fighting. He's in the trenches, this guy. Hideki's just constantly pivoting, maneuvering Kaito into different submissions, which would always somehow lead to like a beautiful butterfly suplex, which is a great move, love it. But yeah, this match also just brought like a real presence with it. Like, it felt high stakes. It was so good, the atmosphere. I mean, this match is just emotional, violent, and utterly captivating. Just the images produced from this match remain vivid in my mind, like just vivid and distinct. Like the blood seeping through El Desperado's white mask is a vivid image that's just gonna stick with you. It's just something, it was so cool. In fact, it's my phone background. Okay, that's how much I really dug that, how hard that image went. If you like death matches or stuff in that vein, you'll love this match. I think it sort of confronts the line between fearless and reckless and what that means. You're not gonna murder me because this isn't a good match. This match is awesome. You know it is, okay? But you're like, number 4 over the other John Moxley matches? Yes, okay? Look, you're coming here to watch me have opinions that you're like, what is this guy talking about? And that's fair, I get that. But you know what? I stand by my choices here. I stand by this match. This match slaps. It's just Moxley throwing around Garcia, just ragdolling him, just all over, onto stairs, onto the canvas, wherever. Doesn't care, doesn't matter. Moxley's just brutalizing him in the most menacing way. But I mean, Garcia also adds a lot to the match as well with his selling, and I really don't remember what he did besides just be brutalized, to be honest with you. But I think Moxley bleeds, so he must have done something to make him bleed, and that's cool. Mox had a disgustingly good run this year, so it doesn't really matter where the matches are, you know what I'm saying? Some of you may be disappointed this isn't number 1, and that's fine. I understand. You could argue that it's number 1 match of the year. You could. But I mean, this match is just chaos manifested. There's so much to love about this match, from narrative standpoints to the action in the ring, the intensity brought by every wrestler in the match. I mean, just the opening alone stands to be one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Wild Thing is blaring. John Moxley and friends rock out from the stadium. Boom, ambush by Jericho Appreciation Society. The music keeps playing, and it just feels so unhinged. It's so much better than any of those Stadium Stampede matches. The stakes felt high, even though they kept feuding, I think, after this. This match, similar to the El Desperado match, generated some imagery that's just so cool. You look at Kingston with that canister. He's gonna set someone on fire. That's really all I need in a match, is somebody to look cool. And I don't think I need to say anything more about this match. I think you get the gist. And if you don't, I'm sorry. This match emotionally resonated with me a lot for some reason. Maybe it's because I love Go. Dude, that's definitely true. And he's such a performer. He's so good at emoting and selling. He's so good at that. He's so good at drawing you in. And Kaito's also fantastic with his athleticism. And I don't know, they're just, both of them, the way they meet in this match, I don't know, there's something about it. It's such a fantastic performance from both men. And it's weird because this match was essentially like a last minute thing due to Fujita getting COVID. And that sort of, actually, that added an element to the match, which was unpredictability, because it's it's like, who's gonna win, Go or Kaito, or like, how's this gonna play out? Which, that unpredictable thing is sort of an element I like in my matches. That's why I like Funaki a lot. This could end at any moment, and that's just something I really engage with. And I don't know, and the way Go doesn't fleshly land all his moves, the way things aren't executed perfectly, it's just, yeah, it adds like a bit of realism to a match. Not everything should go right in a match, because people get tired, people get hurt, people make mistakes, you know, stuff like that. It just adds to it. I'm putting the whole trilogy because I make the rules, not you. I'm saying it again. I might just share my thoughts on all 3 matches. The first match, I loved the atmosphere. They had so much to live up to, so many expectations to live up to, and they delivered on that, which was just kind of a tall order when you think about it. And it's really hard to articulate everything they did in this match that worked so well. So you got the first one, I think it's very even. It keeps you drawn in the entire time by the performances, by the action, just all of it. The second match, it's a 2 out of 3 falls. My biggest issue with that match is sort of the pacing, but that sort of comes with that territory of a 2 out of 3 falls match. And they had a good spin on it, with the Briscoes wanting to go for the clean sweep, so that was a good narrative push. And I actually think that match definitely had higher highs, the second match, in my opinion. There was some really good stuff. I think the Briscoes holding hands not to tap was a really good moment, stuff like that. It evoked quite a lot of emotion in me. But then you had that third match, the dog collar match, and one of the visually most insane brawls I've seen. They use everything is so detailed, everything is so purposeful, everything matters in that match, everything leads to something. It's just one of the best matches. I mean, it's number 1. It's got great stakes. The dog collar just adds an element of interest. I haven't loved every dog collar match I've seen. One of the best dog collar matches, if not the best. And this is easily probably the best trilogy of matches I've ever seen. That's number 1. All 3 Briscoe versus FTR matches. Well deserved. And that's it. That's my best of 2022. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope to have that aggression video out at some point. I might do some more smaller scale videos alongside it. That's it. I'll see you all soon. Check out the description for links to my Twitter and my Ko-Fi. Thank you. See ya. Thank you. Bye. What's a good outro? Farewell. Toodles.